pridefulness. I'm going to talk about, envy. There's like a homily involved. Yeah? If you're a teacher, you got a lesson. Pedagogy has as an axis, like as the thing it rotates around, something didactic. If you're a writer, you're not after lessons, you're after starting arguments. Not arguments like as a fighting, like I want to have not an argument, starting discussions is a better way of saying it. And 99% of the discussions that you start with your work, you didn't even realize you were starting. 99% of what's interesting about my book happened beyond my control. I write a book that's interesting, but nobody ever reads that book. Because people read their own book. People's own books are more interesting than my book. My version of Oscar Wilde is the worst version written. But readers are like, they make their own thing. So I guess I would just want, hopefully the book will do what it does for some people who read it and connect to it, which for some men starts off a discussion about their own sort of masculine condition, their own masculine privilege, their own sort of, what it means to be a boy, the cost and the consequences, specifically a boy of color from an immigrant background, But that's not the only thing. We just hope that happens.
So it seems that a lot of the process of writing is to take a step back and give yourself a chance to sort of get the creative juices flowing. So it seems that there's writers that have like different tricks to do that. So what is your thing? What do you do to get to that moment where you actually get some creativity going for you?
Right, thank you. Well, I'm sort of, I think I should say this because it's better to be transparent. You have to remember, when it comes to me as a writer, I'm very, very weirdly different than my fellow writers. Most of my fellow writers, they produce a lot more than I do. For them, the sooner they can get a book out, the better. Even if that's not what's at the top of their head. I mean, look, in the time that it takes me, I was 44 when it took me to write 2 collections of combined stories in one novel. And there's another writer, and she's 27, and she's done the same thing. So one must understand, I don't come at my work. It's not a job, and nor is it about, I'm not in a race to produce books. It's just never been that way. Yeah. I'm like, guys, I figured the best thing about being so slow is that you can create projects no one else can create. I mean, because I can hang out 11 years for a novel and 16 years for my second collection of linked stories, you can do projects. And so my thing is, it's less about the daily grind of getting up and working, which I think is important, and more about giving myself the courage to hang out 14, 15, 16 years for a book. And those are very different things. Most of the writers I know are like writing every day, can't wait to get published. If a genie came to them and said like, I'll publish you tomorrow, they'd be like, kiss that genie. I would be like, you got nothing for me, to be honest. So I think for me, the important thing about being able to hang 14, 15, 16 years for a book is that you got to maintain the love. You ever been in a relationship for longer than 5 years? You know the deal. It's tough, you guys, to be like, I still love you. And not just feel like my couple movie. You know what I mean? No, it's tough. I don't care what anyone says. Shit is tough. It's mad tough. But a book is the same thing, man. 14 years and you still feel like if there's a fire, the first thing you grab is your partner and your manuscript. 14 years? Part of you is probably thinking, I'm going to grab my car keys and my partner and my first edition of Toni Morrison. It takes a lot of work to stay that committed to a book. And so part of what I do to stay committed to books is that I read like a beast. And I don't know any writer, really, I don't know any writer who reads like me. Because most writers I know read to write. I don't read to write. I read to love. Anybody tweets that, I get you.